I know a girl that was a singer, good gospel singer, solo act right by herself, and mainly sang with tapes, and from time to time would have a band, but for the most part that was too hard to keep up with, so she just kept CDs that she sang to, and her booking agent booked her a gig, not in a church, but in a big club, big fancy club somewhere up in the northeast part of the country. And this particular night, he said, he said, I know that it's a natural thing. It's just more of a worldly place, but it's a real nice place, and they're offering you a good honorarium for being there, so we can afford to fly up. You can do the gig, and you still make some money. She said, well, I don't do this for money, but if you think it's okay. He said, well, pray about it. She said, they prayed together and said, yeah, it feels good. I don't know why. They got up there, and man, it was a nice place. It was like 1 full acre dance floor. Now, that's a bunch of people. You know how many folks can dance in an acre? And had a big horseshoe bar all the way around it. Big, beautiful club. There's a cascading water fountain and lights and just millions of dollars spent on this place, this big club. And that night they were going to have 5 acts. There was going to be a country act, there was going to be a jazz act, a pop act, a rhythm and blues act, and she was going to be the gospel act. And they were going to ask her to come in and finish the show. So the country guy did his thing, and then they were all practicing with. They had to play with the house musicians. And so all the guys were practicing, and the house musicians were good, man. They could tear it up. It didn't matter what you played. They were big, high-dollar musicians, and they played every night of the week, and it was a big thing. And she said that they were just practicing all their songs and came up. She said, I just had this one song. They asked me to do one song, and so I was going to do it at the end. And it was just that simple song called I Give You Jesus. And she said, so when I got ready to practice with the house musician, he couldn't find my chord progression. She said, I'll usually sing in the key of C, and he still just couldn't find it. Kept trying to find it. They played and played, and he just could not find her music. He said, well, I don't know, maybe I've just practiced so much tonight. Just tell you what, when they come in, when they bring you, just come in and start singing, and I'll catch it. I'll catch it by then. She said, okay. She said the night progressed, and the country guy did his act, the rhythm and blues guy did his act, and the pop folks did their thing, and the jazz people did their thing, and finally she says, and the longer it took, it take for 4 acts to do 2 songs each, you got a long way. Then they're taking a break, and all the people are drinking, and by the time they came to her, they were all pretty well snockered. And she said all the people there, the place was full, and she says the whole time while they're playing and while they're singing, there's this one girl that everybody's watching out on the dance floor. And she's drunk, and she's running all over people and running into each other, and she's dancing with women, and she's dancing with men, and they kept getting her off the dance floor because it's a ritzy place, see, and they didn't want this kind of activity. But as soon as they get her settled, boom, she's back on the dance floor again, and she's dirty dancing with some of them, and they get her. Finally, she fell into that cascading water fountain. When she fell in it, gloosh, they got her out of it, got her pinned down, and got her stopped. She said everybody was kind of nervous about, how they're trying to keep an image here, and this girl's ruining it. So Shelley told me, she said, finally it came my turn, and I got up to the microphone, and I just said, I'm just going to sing the song that I have for you a cappella. And so they all stood around with their drinks in their hand, and she sang that song. If the ship of your life is tossing on the sea of strife, you need someone. If you feel all alone and your house is not a home, you need someone. She said, when I got to that part right there, already the Holy Ghost flooded the place. And people started putting their drinks down. She said, I noticed one man's hand quivering as he put his head in his own hand. If the times that you have tried with all the strength you have inside, and you think that you have failed, remember on the cross he nailed all the bitterness and grief, give you peace and sweet relief. I know that's someone that you need. She sang, I give you Jesus. He's the peace that passes all understanding. She says when she hit that song, I give you Jesus, the keyboard took off in perfect chord progression. She thought, he got it. She sang, I give you Jesus, He's the perfect love that casteth out all fear. No, he wasn't. It was the drunk girl on the piano. I give you Jesus. She played it in perfect chord. She got up from where they had her pinned. She went to the piano and started playing right with her singing. He's the water that you drink and never thirst again. I give you Jesus, my friend. I give you Jesus. She sang all the way through the second and the third lines and sang the chorus again. And when they got, she said the whole place, the Holy Ghost just flooded like a wave, flooded through that place. People were weeping. When she ended the song, the place erupted in this just outstanding applause, and they all came around her and crowded around her. People were crying. They were hugging her. In a minute, she said this wet arm was around me, and I looked up the arm of this girl that was the drunk girl that was on the platform. She said, you have no idea what just happened tonight. She said, I am a backslidden pastor's daughter. I got hurt in church. I got hurt with people. I got hurt with church folks. I got hurt with my daddy. I got hurt with everybody in the church, my own family. And they all basically disowned me. And she said, I swore to God, I told him I will never go back to your church ever again. I'll never hang out with Christians. I will never do that again. Not after the way I've been treated. And she said that tonight I was dancing my hind end off. She didn't say that, but she said, I was doing my normal thing. And she said, and when you took the platform and started singing, she says, I know the Holy Ghost. I've known Him for years. And He flooded in this place, and He came in like a wave of the ocean. She said, I know Him. And when He splashed into my face, she said, He spoke to me and said, sweetheart, you would never come where I was. So I just came where you were. Now, see, that's what I'm telling you right there, y'all. This is who Jesus is. He'll go get you. He'll rescue you. He's not requiring you to do a big bunch of dancing and standing on your head and spitting BBs and doing everything right and making sure that you're witnessing everything right and you're going to church all the time. You're doing everything you know. I believe in doing all those things, and I believe in being consistent with them. But it's not incumbent that you do everything in the world to stay right with Him. He'll come and make you right with Him. He